Hello everyone, welcome to our presentation on climate change. Life in the greenhouse. The atmosphere acts as a blanket keeping the earth warm. A few gases in the atmosphere have greenhouse-like effects. They prevent heat from radiating into space and might otherwise escape the atmosphere. These are greenhouse gases: carbon dioxide, water vapor, and methane. These gases allow solar energy to warm the surface of the Earth by passing through. A portion of this energy eventually escapes into the atmosphere as heat. This emits from the surface of the Earth. While some of this energy escapes into space, the majority is absorbed and sent in the form of infrared radiation towards the direction of the Earth. Our atmosphere is maintained at the temperatures required for life. Without the greenhouse effect, the Earth's average temperature would be roughly -17 degrees Celsius. However, due to human activity, greenhouse gases have increased during the last 100 years. Greenhouse effect. So this diagram basically shows the greenhouse effect. What this means is that radiation from the sun warms the earth. You have that the earth also radiates back heat into space. Now, because the earth atmosphere contains greenhouse gases such as methane, such as carbon dioxide, you have that the greenhouse gases absorb some of the radiation, and because of this it will basically send it back or radiate it back towards the earth's surface. Factories and transport uses fossil fuels. These activities release huge amounts of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Deforestation has also caused considerable forest loss. In Latin America, trees are cut down for farming, and when they are burned, carbon dioxide is released into the sky. Most carbon dioxide is released as a result of decomposition of tree roots. The expansion of rice farming and cow rearing has also resulted in a considerable rise in methane. Methane is another greenhouse gas that is expelled by cattle. It is also produced by microorganisms in the anaerobic environments of unflooded rice fields and unmanaged wetlands. Other sources of methane include extraction of oil, natural gases, rotting waste in landfills, and garbage dumps. Carbon dioxide has climbed by 10% in the last 30 years, representing the greatest increase of all greenhouse gases. Methane and chlorofluorocarbon molecules have a far significant influence on the greenhouse effect. The air warms up as a result of the presence of greenhouse gases. In the absence of carbon dioxide and water vapor, heat energy would simply be radiated back into space. Greenhouse, like methane gases, is also rising significantly in the atmosphere due to human activities. Climate change. Human activities are causing an increase in the concentration of greenhouse gases, thus the atmosphere is getting warmer. This is causing the enhanced greenhouse effect. Over the past century, the Earth's surface has warmed by 0.7 degrees Celsius. Polar ice would begin to melt if temperatures in the Arctic and Antarctic rose above 0 degrees Celsius. Well, in research have shown that even in the year 2002, the last statement on this slide is true. The Arctic temperatures have risen, and you have that the polar ice in the Arctic have now begun to melt. As a result, many low-lying places would flood and the sea level would increase. These would encompass the majority of the capital cities in the Caribbean and a significant proportion of the cropland in the area. Changes in wind patterns and rainfall patterns could result in more intense weather. It is predicted that some regions of the world will get extremely dry. Some of these, like areas of the United States of America and Asia, are significant agricultural regions. Therefore, climate change may result in a significant decline in grain harvest in Central Asia and North America. A change in global food distribution pattern could, could have negative economic and political repercussions. Carbon emissions must be decreased as part of global warming mitigation strategies. Improved energy efficiency, as well as the use of renewable energy sources, including solar, wind, and wave power, as well as ethanol-based fuels, are methods to do this. The Caribbean is particularly vulnerable to storm damage. There were 8 Category 5 hurricanes between 2001 and 2010, compared to a total of 23 between 1928 and 2000. This shows that tropical storm severity has been rising. Additionally, storms are becoming more intense quickly. The mangroves will sustain more damage from stronger storms. Erosions occur more quickly if the mangroves that provide coastal protections are destroyed. By limiting the use of chemicals like fertilizers, insecticides, and herbicides, farmers may lessen the impact that fertilizers have on the environment. The chemicals should only be used when needed. Some farmers are switching to chemical-free organic agriculture. Farmers who practice organic farming fertilize their crops naturally. Waste from plants and animals is added to the soil to naturally decompose. Farmers can utilize biological control to limit their use of pesticides. Conservation methods. Many of our renewable resources have come from the natural world. Our entire survival depends on organisms working to produce our food and break down our waste. We must protect the environment for both our benefits and the benefits of coming generations. We have a responsibility to preserve biodiversity and safeguard threatened species. A list of all the species in a region, a nation, or even the entire world is called biodiversity. The genetic diversity within each species and the various environments in a region are also included. We should conserve ecosystems, habitats, and species for the following reasons. Ecosystems provide us with services such as treating waste, providing food and fuel, and giving us areas for recreation. The ecosystem also provides us with useful substances such as medicine. Ecosystem helps to maintain the balance of life on the planet, example, nutrient cycles. Habitats support a wide variety of organisms that interact in ways we do not fully understand, but are vital for our continuing life on this planet, for example, by keeping pests and diseases in check. No species live in isolation, so we have a duty to conserve ecosystems and habitats, and these are some ways in which this is done. National parks. These are large tracts of lands set aside for wildlife and patrolled by wardens. Protecting area of the sea damaged from fishing and pollution by establishing marine parks. Rescuing endangered animals, breeding them in captivity, and then returning them to the wild. Growing endangered plants in botanical gardens and re-establishing them in the wild. Removing alien species such as lionfish and butterbrush. Encouraging sustainable management of ecosystem. In forests, allowing natural replacement or replanting when trees are removed, but not destroying habitats by clearing large areas. Restoration methods. Restoring habitats have been degraded or destroyed by human activities and natural catastrophes is an important part of conservation. The following are examples. Tree planting day in Jamaica and schemes in Haiti to reforest degraded lands to reduce the severe effects of heavy rains. Restoring land degraded by mining and waste disposal, for example the Soda Lake in Mount Rozier in Jamaica. Restoring mangrove to protect coasts that are at risk of storm damage. Education and public awareness campaigns are an important part of conservation work. Governments can also legislate to protect habitats at risk from development and destruction. Re-establishing ecosystems where land has become degraded, for example, establishing dry forests in the national park in Costa Rica. Restoration methods. Additionally, resource conservation is required. Conserving fossil fuel is possible when using energy wisely. Recycling commodities like paper, glass, and aluminum lowers energy use, protects the environment, and conserves raw materials. Global water has significantly increased, and many water sources are running dry or becoming contaminated. To ensure that everyone has access to water, water must not be wasted and must be used responsibly. So that was our presentation on climate change. I hope that the information provided you understood and you learned something. What we'll do now is go through a past paper question that is related to the topic that we just went through. Concerted efforts are currently made by certain Caribbean governments to preserve forested areas, although there is a need to provide housing for people. Suggest 2 long-term biological benefits of a government's investment in forest conservation. So one of the first benefits of a government investment in forest conservation is that having more forests will provide a habitat for a diverse array of plants and animals. So these plants and animals will have places to live, to strive, and to get food. Another benefit is that this will reduce the amount or level of greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, because the forest will now be able to store the carbon dioxide and provide human with oxygen. So you know that the more carbon dioxide that the trees, the forest absorb, it means that less greenhouse gases will be in the atmosphere, thus reducing the amount of heat in the atmosphere. Thank you guys for listening to the presentation and have a wonderful day.